So you're thinking about moving to Bluffton, South Carolina, and you're thinking there has to be something wrong with this place. It seems so perfect and so beautiful. Well, guess what? There are things wrong with it, and that's what I'm going to tell you today. I'm going to tell you 10 things that I hate about Bluffton, South Carolina. Do you want to know everything there is to know about the South Carolina Low Country? Whether it's Bluffton, Beaufort, Hilton Head Island, or Jasper County, then subscribe below and tap that bell for notifications, so you'll be the first to know about the current market in the South Carolina Low Country. My name is David Simcox, host of Low Country Lifestyles and a local realtor. I get calls and emails every day from people just like you and you and you looking to make their move to the South Carolina Low Country, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're making your move in 3 days or 3 weeks or 3 months, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or book a Zoom call, all in the description below, so I can help you find your low country lifestyle. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 10 things that I hate about Bluffton, South Carolina. Now, spoiler alert, I don't hate Bluffton, South Carolina. I love Bluffton, South Carolina, and that's why I sell real estate here and why I live in this area. But I do think there are some things that you should know about Bluffton before you move here. So let's go ahead and get started right now. All right, number one is Southern cooking. And the reason I say I hate it is because I actually love it so much and it's so delicious, but if I eat too much of it, it's not going to be good on my waistline. So some of my favorite Southern foods are fried chicken, peach cobbler, boiled peanuts, fried oysters, low country boil, shrimp and grits, South Carolina barbecue, fried okra, sweet tea, biscuits and gravy. Why don't you comment down below and say which of those are your favorite? But if you do want to try some of the best in Southern cooking, come here to Cahill's Market. They have the ultimate in fried chicken and okra, and they've got their own gardens here, so it's all garden to table. But it's one of those things, I love it and I hate it. It's not good for you, but it's so delicious. Number two, I'm going to call the traffic Tango. And this happens at these roundabouts all throughout Bluffton, and sometimes it works like a perfectly orchestrated ballet, and other times it's more like a junior high dance with people stepping all over each other's feet. Right now it seems to be working pretty good, but when traffic gets heavy, a lot of times people don't know who's coming, who's going, who should merge, who shouldn't merge, who's being aggressive, who needs to get in there and just jump into the traffic circle. And for people coming in from other parts of the country, a lot of times they've never driven in a traffic circle like this, and it can get a little bit chaotic. So hopefully your experience is more like a ballet and less like a junior high dance when you enter the traffic circles here in Bluffton. All right, number three is bugs. And I'm talking about termites, I'm talking about fire ants, and I'm talking about all kinds of things like mosquitoes. So if you're gonna own a home in Bluffton or in the South Carolina Low Country, you definitely are gonna wanna have a termite inspection, and you're gonna wanna have an ongoing termite bond or termite treatment. If you got fire ants in the yard, you want someone to spray for that. Those are some mean little critters. Luckily, I can point you in the right direction. One of my best friends over here owns Mr. Pest Control, and you can see the phone number here in the background. And so, yes, bugs and mosquitoes and termites and fire ants, they are part of living in Bluffton, South Carolina. But don't worry, we got a guy for that. All right, number four, I'm gonna call the Alligator Intruders. If you're moving to Bluffton, you have to be prepared to possibly share your backyard with some very scary neighbors. Bluffton does have some alligators. They're mostly in the lagoons within the communities. They're mostly harmless. They typically stay out of the May River, so if you're boating and swimming in the May River, you'll very rarely see them. If you want to see some monster alligators though, come right here where I'm at now, which is the New River. And this place, the New River, is actually a freshwater river, and it is loaded, I mean loaded with some monster alligators that look like they've come from a prehistoric age. If you go upriver that way in a kayak or a boat, or if you're brave enough to get on a paddleboard, you will see some monster gators. But in most of the neighborhoods around Bluffton, there are going to be some alligators in the lagoons. And believe it or not, they've been known to wander out of the lagoons and into people's yards from time to time. There was actually a woman in my office that last week, she said an alligator came up onto her front porch. That's the first time I've ever heard that from someone, so I think the likelihood is very small, but it is something you are going to have to live with if you move to Bluffton. All right, number 5, I'm gonna call Southern hospitality overload. People here are so friendly. I mean, the women here will be like, oh, bless your heart, and things like that. And for people coming from New York, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, I actually moved here 10 years ago from South Florida. They're not used to it. And I've had a couple of people from up north and they're like, man, these people are so nice, or they're so nice, it's so annoying. I'm so used to people being rude where I'm from. So there is an overload of friendliness and hospitality. And for some people, that kind of rubs them the wrong way. I kind of like it, but comment down below and tell me whether the Southern hospitality would make you feel welcome or if it would get under your skin. All right, number 6 is the humidity. And you wouldn't know it today. It's an absolutely beautiful day on the May River, but during the summertime, it gets hot and sticky and you feel like you are sitting in a sauna. And you know what? I can put up with that for a little while during the summer because the rest of the year is absolutely gorgeous. But I'll tell you what, during the summertime, sometimes I walk out of my office and I've got on just an outfit like I have on today. And within 2 minutes, I am drenched in sweat and I cannot wait to get in my air-conditioned car. All right, number 7 is Pluff Mud. And Pluff Mud is the mud that all of this seagrass lives in. And when the tide goes out, you've got these big muddy areas along the bank. And the reason you have to be careful of Pluff Mud, number 1, they're full of oyster shells. So if you go walking in the Pluff Mud, you can actually cut your feet on the oyster shells. Number 2, you'll sink in, and you'll sink in about up to your knees, and it's actually kind of hard to get out of the Pluff Mud if you get stuck in the Pluff Mud. And number 3, the Pluff Mud has a very distinct smell and odor to it. It's kind of sulfury smelling, and I actually like the way Pluff Mud smells, but for a lot of people that come here and they're driving over the bridge and it's low tide, they're like, oh my Lord, what is that smell? That's the Pluff Mud, okay? So Pluff Mud is number 7. All right, number 8, I'm going to call golf cart inferiority complex. I have a golf cart. I have a nice golf cart. Everybody in Bluffton has golf carts. It's the preferred mode of transportation around here. But I always end up seeing somebody's golf cart who is nicer than mine. Look at this awesome thing. It is so cool. And every time I see one, it just makes me feel bad that they have a nicer golf cart than me. But seriously, there are tons of cool golf carts around Bluffton, and my golf cart's just fine. But I do always see somebody who has a nicer golf cart than me. All right, number 9 is the Southern Drawl, or the Southern sayings, or the Southern slang. And some of them sound pretty cool, and it's actually kind of beautiful to listen to, but it can be a little frustrating if you don't understand what people are saying or what the words that they're saying mean. And I typically find that the people who have been here the longest, going back generations upon generations, typically have more of an accent and use more slang terms and slang sayings. And also, when you get further out into the country, I feel like you are going to hear more of these slang terms. But I'm going to go ahead and help you out so that if you do come here, you'll understand what some of these words mean, so you won't be in the dark. So first of all, the word South Carolina. The locals, the people that have been here a long time, they don't actually call it South Carolina. They call it South Kakalaki. Okay, so that's your first one. The second one, if they want you to turn the lights on, they'll say cut the lights on or cut the lights off. The next one, they might say bless your heart or bless his heart, and that's actually not a good thing. Sometimes people say that when you've done something that's kind of dumb or kind of irresponsible, like, oh, Billy Bob went out and drank too much the other night and crashed into the neighbor's mailbox, and they'll say, bless his heart. So that's not necessarily a compliment. Of course, the word y'all. I know up north they say you guys. Down here they say y'all. Another one they'll say is I reckon, meaning I guess, or something like that. So I reckon I'm going to do this, or I reckon I'm going to do that. Another one, britches. Britches are pants in the South. So if a mom wakes you up in the morning and says, go get your britches on before school, that means go put your pants on before school. The next one, this one's kind of interesting. The word haint. That's actually a really cool word from the Gullah Geechee community. That means an evil spirit. So if they're trying to keep the haints away, or if you see blue painted under the porches, they're trying to keep the haints away. The next one, they say I'm fixing to. That means I'm getting ready to. I'm fixing to do this. I'm fixing to do that. And the last one, and I actually like this one, it's pretty fun. I say it to my kids. They say, Bo! And that just means like, hey man, or if they see an old buddy from a long time ago, it doesn't matter if his name's Bo or not. They just go, hey Bo! So that's my list of Southern slangs and Southern terms. And again, I don't hate them. I just want you to know that when you come down here, I want you to understand them, and I don't want you to be left in the dark. All right, and number 10 is hurricanes. Yes, hurricanes are a part of life here in South Carolina and all along the southeast coast. I lived in South Florida for almost 15 years, and I've been here almost 10. And yes, every so many years I do have to evacuate, but for me, that's just a good excuse to go see my uncle over in Atlanta and spend some time with him. So again, every place has their pros and cons. Out west they've got wildfires and mudslides. In the Midwest they've got tornadoes. Some places have earthquakes. And here on the southeast coast we do have hurricanes. They're a fact of life. But think about this. You also have for some great surfing after the hurricane. So, all right guys, thank you for staying till the end of the video. And as always, my name is David Simcox, host of Low Country Lifestyles and a local realtor. If I can help you find your low country lifestyle, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or book a Zoom call, all in the description below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap that bell for notifications so you'll be the first to know about the current market in the South Carolina Low Country. Thank you for spending time with me. It's been a pleasure.